Hello everyone and welcome back to another unboxing video at Battlegrounds Game Center. I'm Patrick and today we're going to be taking a look at Star Wars Unlimited, a new TCG by Fantasy Flight Games. This one is a very highly anticipated card game. It hasn't released just yet as of this recording, and it'll be coming out on March 8th, but the store did get a few demo copies and we wanted to open them up, show you what was inside for the first set, Spark of Rebellion. So this comes with two decks, Luke Skywalker and Darth Vader, and there's a few other components, but we'll go ahead and get it open and show you what's inside. First things first here. Some tokens. Some card decks. And the decks themselves. So we'll look at those here in a minute. But first off, we got a few token sheets for life counters. This is the initiative counter. I believe this is for on the leader cards that you will have in your deck for their special power, because you can use it once per game. Yeah, just simple little tokens that help you keep track of things. I like it when card games do this, because sometimes you just have to use dice or other things you have around, but when they supply them, it's nice. Let's see here. And then it does come with two playmats, which is always cool. So each of them have artwork for the two different characters in the starter set. So this one being Darth Vader, very cool. And on the opposite side, it'll actually show you the layout of the board. So where you put your resources, your deck, it even has like a run through of the game, references for the different abilities here on the cards that come in the starter decks. Where you're gonna put your ground units, your space units. So yeah, that is one of the playmats. And then the other playmat, it's going to have Luke Skywalker. So those are the two leaders in the deck. Luke Skywalker. Okay. Next we have the rulebook. So I've actually gone through the rulebook, and the game seems relatively simple, but with a decent amount of strategy. I like the back and forth play of it, where you take an action, I take an action, and you keep going until you pass or take the initiative. And then after that, you do a regroup step, and then you keep going. And then the object of the game is to reduce your opponent's base down to 0 life. It starts at 30. So what you'll be doing is you'll be playing cards on the ground or in space, and then they'll be attacking the base and other cards, just trying to take down their life as fast as they can so that they can win. But all the rules here shows you some of the abilities, how to custom build your deck once the set officially comes out, and you have all your booster decks or booster cards, and then keyword glossary for the starter set. Nice little rulebook. There are also some deck boxes. So, like a lot of games, you'll have a lot of starter sets. They'll come with deck boxes for the different decks. So there's Darth Vader and Luke Skywalker. All right, so those are all the additional things you get in the starter set, but let's go ahead and take a look at the cards. Alrighty, so we're gonna go ahead and look at Luke Skywalker first. So I'll kind of give you an overview of how a deck looks. So you have a leader card, which is you have to choose when you're deck building. It is double-sided. It has like this horizontal side and it has the vertical side. So the way this side works is you'll have your ability, and then they'll have a special epic action that you can take during your turn to take him out onto the board, flipped up like as a character so that he can do his attacks. And if he does get knocked out at any point, it comes back to you like this, but then that's your once per game use of him. And then you have to put a token here to show that you can't do it again. You also get a base, which will tell you how much life it has, some artwork here. It also has this aspect here. And the way the deck building works in this game is your leader will have two aspects of a certain color, and then your base will have another aspect. So you'll have three aspects that you can build your deck with. You can use any aspects in any of your decks, like you don't have to follow this, but there's a what is called an aspect penalty, which means you'll have to pay more resources to play those cards. So say there was like a black color in your deck and that's not on here, it would cost you an additional 2 resources in order to play that card. So you got to keep that in mind. But you can pretty much mix things however you want. So those are the two cards that you definitely need to start your deck building. And then each starter comes with some tokens. So you've got experience, which is a +1/+1 type token, and then you got a shield, which is something that has to be removed before you take damage. So they're double-sided, comes in both decks. And then you have the decks themselves. So the kind of anatomy of a card here. So you'll have the cost up here in the top left along with the aspect on the bottom. You'll have how much damage they deal, how much life they have, any keywords for the card, and then their abilities. Also up here, it'll tell you if it's a unit or an event or upgrade, and it'll tell you if it's a unit, if it's ground or space. Because one of the unique things about this game is there's like 2 sections where ground units go and then space units go, and they can't interact with each other. So you're kind of like playing those in different ways so that, oh, they don't have a lot of space defense, so I might start playing a lot of space cards to try to take out the base as quick as I can, because they both can go after their base, which is a pretty cool, unique thing with this game. So yeah, so that's one of the cards here. So this is 2-1B Surgical Droid. Okay, so then we got R2-D2. Now you'll see there's actually 3 copies of R2-D2, which 3 is the max of any card you can take. However, there are some cards here that have this little star next to them. Those are like the unique symbol, basically meaning only one of these can be out at a time. So even though you have 3, you can only play one of them. However, resources in this game is an interesting thing, and so instead of having like a mana pool or anything like that, your cards are your resources. And actually at the beginning of the game, you're going to choose 2 of the cards from your hand to go face down, and then during your regroup step, you'll be drawing cards, and then you'll be able to put 1 card from your hand face down. So even though you have multiple, they could be turned into resources. Or say you took damage on one of them and he has like 1 life left, you could play another one, and you have to choose one to destroy so you can get rid of the one that has less life. So it's kind of cool to have multiples of uniques for, you know, that very reason. So got X-Wing here, so no special ability. C-3PO, again, there's 3 copies of him, but he's got that unique ability, or unique symbol, I mean. So Pathfinder, Restored Arc, 170. We got Leia, 3 copies of her. Rogue Operative, Fleet Lieutenant. So I haven't actually played the game yet, but I will here very soon. And my goal is to possibly get a how to play video out for everybody so you can see how the game works and the flow of the game here very soon before release. Got 1 Yoda, Cloud City Guard, Consular Security Force. Those are pretty beefy. I got 7 life, but they cost 4 resources. Azutuk Liberator Gunship, General Dodana, a Snow Speeder. Now, some of these will have keywords here in red, so those are like abilities that activate in certain ways. And the cool thing with the starter set, it'll actually tell you what they do on the card, but there is reference in the rule book and on the playmat. So like Ambush is normally when you play, they come in tapped, and you can't play them, kind of like a Summoning Sickness. But Ambush, you can actually, they come in and they can immediately attack. And then you got ones like Sentinel here, and it has the little bar here. So Sentinel is kind of like a blocker. They have to be destroyed before you can attack another unit or the base. So that's Chewbacca. Vigilant Honor Guards. Also have Sentinel. Obi-Wan Kenobi. There's a lot of Sentinel in this deck from what I've seen. Han Solo. He has probably my favorite ability, because, you know, Han Solo shot first. While attacking, this unit deals combat damage before the defender. So when you attack, normally you deal damage to each other, and then, you know, whoever has if you take damage equal to your life, then you're just gone. But he gets to hit kind of like a first strike before anybody else. Makes sense, but he is super expensive, so he's 7 resources. So those are all the units, and then we get into upgrades here. So upgrades are cards that you play and they will go underneath cards. So like this one here will give somebody more life, like +3, kind of just slots underneath. You got Luke's lightsaber here, there's a few of them. They give you plus power and more life, but if they specifically go onto Luke, he can actually heal damage, which is cool. But any unit can take them. You got repair. So these are events. So these are kind of like instant cards. You play one time and then they go away. So this is like a healing. Shoot first. Again. Android Sanctuary. They have additional keywords up here too, like trick, tactic, and some cards in the future will probably play around with those. I don't know if there's any that are in the starter set that do that right now, but I would imagine in the actual booster box, more cards will play with those keywords and in the future. Waylay and Vanquish. So that is the Luke Skywalker deck and everything that comes in it. So it's a 50 card deck, and then you got your leader and then you got your base. So that's Luke Skywalker. So let's go ahead and take a look at Darth Vader. So when you're playing the game, like I was saying earlier, it's like a one, I go, you go, like one action. So like that could be playing a card, attacking, taking an initiative so that you can go first next round. But then there's also actions on the cards themselves here, and a lot of them will have like a resource cost, which is this yellow symbol has like a yellow 1, meaning you have to spend a resource, and then an exhaust cost, so meaning they'll have to, be tapped, and then you'll be able to use their ability. And then there's also the epic action at the bottom, just like with Luke Skywalker for the leader. So his is if you control 7 or more, you get to flip him, and then Darth Vader hits very hard, and he has a lot of life. So if he comes out, you might be on a timer, unless you take him out quick. But so yeah, you got Darth Vader, and then his base is the Death Star Command Center. Comes with the green aspect. His is the red, and he had the red and purple or black. Can't actually tell. I think it's purple, but it's very dark purple. Okay, and then again, he has 3 of the tokens, just like Luke. And we have his cards. So we have the TIE LLN Fighter, so 2 attack, 1 health, weak but cheap. Death Star Stormtrooper, same. Hits pretty hard, but weak. So there's 3 of those. Again, 3 is the max that you can take of a card type. Admiral Azel. So he has an action where he can play Imperial cards. I noticed in their deck, they're all about like synergizing with their Imperial keyword. So like a lot of the commanders will tap or do abilities that allow you to get more Imperial. So they're a very hoardy play style, it seems like. They just have a lot of cheap units and free units that come out. Okay, First Legion Stormtrooper. They do a lot of damage too, from what I can tell. Admiral Moti. Snow Trooper Lieutenant. Allowing another Imperial to attack when it's played. There's a lot of when played, so like the probe droid here can look at an opponent's hand. Admiral Piet. Super Laser Technician, which is fun. When it's defeated, it just turns into a resources. Cell Block Guard and one of the Sentinels that come in this deck. General Veers. Yeah, so this deck is very aggro compared to the more defensive Luke Skywalker deck, which makes sense. You can have two sides of the same coin, right? So Grand Moff Tarkin. There's 3 of him. Got Imperial Interceptor. TIE Advanced. Got the AT-ST. Has that Overwhelm keyword, which damage it does spills over, kind of like a trample. Gladiator Star Destroyer. Blizzard Assault AT-AT. Pretty funny. Cost 8, but does 9 damage, 9 health, and it does excess damage. When it kills something, it does its excess to other units. Emperor Palpatine, pretty funny. So when he's played, he just deals 6 damage, divided however you choose to units. He got his little lightning bolts going through. and the Relentless, which is a Star Destroyer capital ship. And then you got Vader's lightsaber for his upgrades here. So there's only one upgrade for Darth Vader, and that's just his lightsaber, where I think there was 2 or 3 upgrades in Luke's deck. And then you got your events, so supply, force choke, resupply, open fire, a few of those. I am your father. This card, so deal 7 damage to an enemy unit unless its controller says no. If they do, draw 3 cards. So some funny little interactions with your opponents. And then maximum firepower and overwhelming barrage. So that is Darth Vader's deck. Again, 50 cards with the 3 tokens, the base, and Darth Vader himself. And that makes up your starter deck. All right, so that is everything that comes in the 2-player Spark of Rebellion starter set for Star Wars Unlimited. You got your 2 decks, you got your tokens, your play mats. I have some artwork on the back, your rule books, and some 2 deck boxes. Now, we did get a few copies of these that we're going to be using as demos leading up to the release on March 8th. So if you're interested in trying out the game, you can always ask someone in store if they would like to show you it, so you can kind of get an idea of how it plays, see if it's something you might be interested in. If you enjoyed this content and want to see more like it in the future, go ahead and like and subscribe to the channel. We have a lot more content planned, from more unboxings to reviews to maybe even a how to play of Star Wars Unlimited itself. But I'm Patrick at Battlegrounds Game Center, and until next time, may the Force be with you.